Hey there, Abiding fam, welcome back to my channel. It feels so good to be able to talk to you guys again and be sharing another video. You may have noticed that we skipped June this year, and that's because I just actually moved back home. So things were a little crazy last month to say the least, but I am all set up in my new room and ready to create with you guys. So let's get started with July. I always like to begin by laying out all of my materials for the month, and these journaling cards my dog got to before I did, so unfortunately they were a little chewed up before I stopped her, but I think I can still salvage them. And then of course I grabbed my bullet journal and a nice little smoothie that I made in this cute little lemon cup that I may or may not have bought just because my theme is lemons this month. So the majority of what I'll be using for this spread comes from this printable that I created for my patrons over on Patreon. So if you're not already a patron and are interested in getting this printable and some other great rewards, you should definitely go ahead and check that out. If you are a patron, I hope you guys like this printable. I'm really happy with the way all of the different elements turned out. I loved using them, and I know that this is going to be one that I definitely print and cut out again and again for my own personal use, because just look how cute some of these are. That one is my personal favorite. I love the little tree, the little lemon tree, and of course this little lemon washi. If you print to size and have an A5 size journal, then that little strip of washi will work perfectly on the top or bottom of your page. So like I said, I'm going to make use of this journaling card despite my dog getting to it. I just cut out the part that she had bit off, and luckily it didn't affect the actual image on the journaling card. So I decided to cut it out and tape that down in the corner. I don't know why I started over on that page first, but I just really wanted to put that piece down. Then I had this idea to create a whole kind of lemon hedge background for my July cover page. So I went ahead and I drew some little lemons and then some vines to connect them all together, creating a nice entire pattern across the middle of the page. And for this, I'm using my Arteza markers, which typically blend out really well. I actually used those Arteza markers to create all of the printable elements for this month, but on this paper within the journal, it doesn't blend out as well as it does on watercolor paper. So I didn't quite get the blended effect that I was going for, but I think it still turned out pretty well. Then I got some alpha stickers in white and put those down for July. You can see I started with the outer letters first and then work my way in. That just helps to make sure that you get the right spacing. It's a good little tip if you want to really have all of your letters centered. And I felt like the white wasn't standing out quite as much as I wanted it to, so I took my mild liner pen in yellow and just outlined the letters to make them stand out a little bit more. I like to put a tiny mini calendar on my cover page. I just think it's a cute little element to add, and it's good to quick reference. So I put that on there just using my micron pen. I love my micron pens. That's what I basically use almost all of the time when I'm using black pen. Then for brush lettering, I used my Fudenosuke pen to write out a quote at the top, and I did this in a mixed font, so I did a cursive brush lettering look. And then I printed the less important words with my micron pen, so that's a really good way to create a neat lettered look, is to mix up your fonts and use the cursive or the brush lettering when you really want those words to stand out, and then you can use just normal printed letters for the less important words in the quote. Then I did goals with my Tombow dual brush pen in yellow, and then went across that in a smaller elongated font saying this month. So those are my goals for this month, or that's where I'm going to write those. Then we moved on to my calendar spread, which is always the most important for my bullet journal. So I just kind of counted out based on the dots where I wanted all of the lines to make sure I could fit all of the days of the month in this calendar. I think I did 5 by 6. If you're using a 5mm dot spread. I'm pretty sure that's what minimalism art is. I don't know why I struggle saying minimalism art so much, but that is the type of journal I have, and I think it is the same as your Luke Sturms and all the others. So then I went and put some more of this lemon washi on the bottom to fill in that, and I love that the lemon washi, when you put it on top, lines up perfectly so it looks like one continuous piece. And I then went in with this Sakura micro perm pen over top the washi to write the days of the week. And I cannot recommend this pen enough for writing on surfaces that you normally would struggle with, such as washi or acetate, anything that normal pen would wipe off of. The micro perm pen works really well and actually stays and you don't struggle with. So I highly recommend it. I have it linked down below, and I have my Amazon affiliate shop linked down below, and I have an entire list of all of my favorite journaling supplies over there. So if ever there is a supply that you see me use and are curious about, it's almost definite that I have it linked over on my Amazon page. So you can check that out anytime you're looking for some new journaling supplies. Then I brought in all of my different elements from the printable, so I was just playing around with which ones I wanted to use and where I wanted to put them. That for me is the most fun part of journaling, is playing around with different elements and deciding how to style the page and where to put the stickers or the die cuts, whatever it is I'm using in that case. So you can see that typically takes a while. I have this very sped up, and yeah, I am pretty indecisive when it comes to where I want elements. So if you're looking at somebody's page and saying, wow, that's so pretty, I don't know how I would put that together, know that it definitely takes time. Anybody's video is sped up, and it's not that quick of a process. So I decided that I wanted to have a quote on this page too, so I decided to write, "Live your life with zest," to bring in that whole kind of pun on it being lemons, zest. You get the gist. And then I wrote in the month, so I wrote out hello with the yellow pen again, and then went across with another elongated line writing out July. I just really like that look of the big lettering in the background and then that tiny elongated lettering in the front. I think it's a really fun way to mix things up. And then of course I put in the dates for the calendar, and as always I screwed up because I can never get the dates right no matter how many times I write them out. So I just covered up my mistakes with some of these little lemon wedges, and just like that, the problem was solved. So on to my next entry. This was going to be my habit tracker, so I pulled out a few die cuts that I wanted to include on the page. And I thought at first that I was going to do just a really typical habit tracker with the days of the month down the side and then the habits across the other axis, but as I started counting I realized that that wasn't going to work because I didn't have quite enough room with where I put those elements. But I had an idea, and I think the page turned out much better for it. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I made each habit have a lemon wedge and then divided the lemon wedge into the days of the month? So what I did is I created 6 of the little sections within the lemon, and then I figured because there's 31 days in July, I needed 5 of those wedges to have 5 little ticks in them, and then the 6th one would have to have 6 to create 31 days. So I was very proud of my math in that instance. So as you can see, I just drew out all of the wedges, making 6 equal little compartments. And then I went in with a smaller pen and just divided those up into 5s, and then one of those I divided into 6 to create 31 days. So hopefully that makes sense. It was actually a pretty straightforward process, but I know that a lot of numbers flying out of my mouth makes it sound very confusing. I then went around and just added in the numbers of the days of the month for each of those habits. So each of the slices will represent one habit, and I will write down the habits around each of the wedges once I decide what habits I want to track this month. So I just outlined it then with some yellow to make it stand out more, and then I will color in any days that I do that habit. I then decided to write out habits with my white pen, but it wasn't showing up quite the way I wanted it to. So I went in with black over top of it just to make that stand out a little bit more. And I was so happy with the way this turned out that I actually decided to make this our art print for July. So if you are a patron at the Abiding Art level, then you will get that art print for this month. So there are all of my entries. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. I will be having a whole bullet journal setup video coming to you very soon in this new journal. I'm super excited about it, and I can't wait to show you. I'm hoping to be doing a lot more bullet journal videos in the very near future, so if you have any recommendations, be sure to leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. And of course, if you like the printables, be sure to check out Patreon, and if you want to see more photos like what you're seeing now, be sure to follow me over on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. I pray that you have an amazing July full of abiding love, joy, and creativity.